Okay. All right. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, guys. Calm down. No, it's okay. It's all right. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. Everything's all right. Okay. Now, faithful, hear me and hear me well. We were not ever supposed to win this game. This game should not be competitive. Do we want to win? Yes. Should we hope to be competitive? Absolutely. But let's take all of our 49er fandom out of the picture, take a step back, and really, really think about it. Thank you, Nigel, for the birthday wish, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, big dog. Where's my horn at? Party horn, baby. But let's be clear here, guys. No quarterback. No linebacker. Yes, I'm talking about Dre Greenlaw. No safeties. They're both backups. No starting corner. No starting defensive lineman. No starting left tackle. No one should expect this Niners team to win this game. No one sensible should expect the Niners to win this game. But there's a story here that I want to share with you guys in this quick halftime show. It's a little bit more important than whether or not we win or lose this game, or how badly we lose this game. This 49ers team has 100% taken on the identity of their head coach. And Mike, it's like, of course they did. That's what they're supposed to do, right? Like, that's what good teams do. So what are you talking about, Mike? Well, I want you guys to hear me out. Just bear with me for a little bit. When you start thinking about the journey that is Kyle Shanahan and how we got to this point here, you sometimes got to take a step back and look at it. You got to take a step back and look at it. To my knowledge, any coordinator that has left this team or a staff member was poached, except for two, Hightower and Wilkes. When I say left, I mean they left early, okay? Hightower and Wilkes. Other guys have not been here, and it's due to contracts expiring and the team just not renewing it. You guys have heard me come on here and talk about how this team is terrible at special teams, that I don't like the hire of, what's my man's name? Schneider for special teams. You guys have heard me say that before. You guys have heard me say no one should be hired for one of 32 positions in the world via text. Hey, we have this opening. Are you interested? But it spoke volumes to me that Kyle Shanahan doesn't give a damn about special teams. Well, we can see that now. This team has taken on the identity. Shout out to Pearsall for the return. Let me give you a little bit of applause there. Cool. Good job, Pearsall. Way to step up, rookie. Cool. Some players are gonna care. So this rant that I'm about to go on doesn't apply to 100% of the people in the locker room. So please miss me with the, oh, everybody doesn't feel that way. But this team has definitely taken on the identity of its head coach. Think about that as I continue. He doesn't care about special teams. He has come out on the microphone this season and said, I didn't think it was something we need to focus on. It's 8 or so plays a game. We should be able to win with our offense and our defense. Let's talk about that offense. I now fully believe that Kyle Shanahan doesn't care about the quarterback position. and Kyle Shanahan doesn't care about the offensive line. I think Kyle Shanahan is a little bit more Chip Kelly than what I was willing to admit before. See, Chip Kelly went to the Philadelphia Eagles and completely demolished that star-studded cast. Chip Kelly believed that his scheme was bigger than the personnel and the players executing it. And he began to get rid of really, really good players on that Eagles team. Now, Kyle hasn't done quite that. So he's not quite there. But I do believe that Kyle believes more in his scheme than the players. Think about it. Don't tell me I'm wrong yet. How many times have you guys heard Kyle Shanahan say, well, I call the plays, I don't know the personnel that's out there? Okay. Maybe someone did a helmet tap and ran off the field, and you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't know that we substituted a lineman, or he didn't know that we substituted a wide receiver, or he didn't know that we substituted a running back. That's cool. That's acceptable. I think we would all agree that that's reasonable. But how many times have we as fans sat back and said, man, Mason should be in there running instead of Christian McCaffrey. Mason's better at this than McCaffrey is. Forget Mason for a second. How many times have we as fans and observers of this team said, Elijah Mitchell is better at carrying the ball right now than Christian McCaffrey? Christian McCaffrey is great out of the backfield and passes and things like that and catching teams off balance. But sometimes we're like, we should see a little bit more Mason. Now, this offense has been complete shit this first half. So, Mason or not, it's going to be bad. But again, I'm going back to why I think Kyle's more Chip Kelly than I thought, and why this team has taken on the identity of its head coach. Kyle doesn't care about all the players. Kyle feels like if I get this guy here that can do this, and that guy there that can do that, and one more person that can give me time to execute this, I'll be okay. He loves the mismatch. He loves the personnel that he loves. He loves his Debo. He loves his Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he necessarily loves his George Kittle. I think George Kittle was a pleasant surprise, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know that Kyle Shanahan has an affinity for the tight end position. Don't take my word for it. Look at what they've invested in the tight end position. He loves the ones that he loves, right? Trent Williams, got to have him. Must get him. What else have they invested in that offensive line? Got to get my Mac back. He went and got Mac. You remember the center? He went and got him. Went and got Richburg. I got to have certain players that can do this or buy me time to do this. The team is taking on the identity of its head coach. You don't believe me? What happened when they asked Chris Forrester about why the Niners won't give him high-end talent in the draft? The man told you himself, well, now I'm under the mindset that I'd rather them spend those high draft picks on a skill position because my offensive linemen don't score points. An offensive line coach said that publicly at a podium and officially on the record. Don't give me good talent. I'd rather them use it over there. Taking on the mindset and mentality of Kyle Shanahan. Let the draft record reflect it. Let the free agency signings reflect it. Now the defense. He likes the players that he likes. Got to get Nick Bosa. Kyle and John Lynch go to the podium and say together, everybody on this team, including us, are available for trade except Nick Bosa. Got to have his guy. He's got to have his guy. Fred Warner, another pleasant story. Fred Warner is the George Kittle of the defense. Like those guys, similar round picks, right? Great production from those guys, have exceeded what it was. Now, the Niners did go out and try to get some really good linebackers. They went out and got a Reuben Foster. They traded up back into the first round to go get him. I remember. They wanted number 53 in Navarro Bowman to raise and groom that guy, and Bowman wasn't having it. They do value the middle linebacker. That's one of those positions that they value. Can y'all tell me someone else on the defense that they value? They throw bodies at the defensive line. They do. Kyle respects Chris Kocurek in that defensive line. First rounder after first rounder. Free agent after free agent. We have to get somebody to get after the quarterback. Everybody knows that. Who do they value in that secondary? Kyle came into this team and said, I want that Seattle-style defense because that's the hardest defense I ever played against as an offensive coordinator. I want that. He went and got Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh bought that defense right here. And when Robert Saleh finally couldn't hold off the teams trying to poach him, Kyle didn't go out and do this big exclusive defensive coordinator search. He promoted from within. We got lucky with D'Amico, but kept that same scheme. Kept the same scheme. Hear me out. Because Kyle's mentality is, I want to play against this Seattle-style defense. Well, we couldn't hold off the vultures from getting D'Amico. D'Amico goes over to Houston, and the Niners hire a defensive coordinator, and they spent all offseason trying to convince y'all that this motherfucker had defensive coordinator experience. And I told y'all, no, he don't. And I told y'all, you should be concerned with Steve Wilks. And I even told y'all that Steve Wilks was already going to be a scapegoat because they didn't let him bring anybody with him. Because Kyle doesn't give a shit as long as it's the system that I wanted here in place. Well, why didn't they go and get Vic Fangio? Because Vic Fangio would have changed shit. Because Vic Fangio has balls. And he's been doing this a lot longer than Kyle Shanahan. He's not going to let him just tell him what the fuck to do. That's why. That's why. So Steve Wilks comes, and Steve Wilks goes, and no extensive search for another defensive coordinator. No consideration on whether or not we should be making some changes on the defense. None at all. Not a single fucking desire to change anything. Oh, what they do, they try to convince you guys that they called Bill Belichick. And y'all were like, oh, they tried. There it is. They tried. I knew they were going to try something. No, we have this clown and Nick Sorensen. I'm only talking about as a defensive coordinator because I don't know the man. He's probably a great man. We have this clown of a coordinator and Nick Sorensen. Nick Sorensen was asked specifically about what he can do to improve tackling. And he said, we got to make tackles. Well, bitch, that's not like a cake. You can't just mix some shit up and put it in the oven and make tackles. But hey, Kyle don't give a shit. Why should I? This team has taken on the identity of its head coach. He doesn't care about the defense as long as it's that old Seattle-style defense. He doesn't care about the offensive line. I need my guys in the skill positions that I need, and that's it. And I'm here to tell y'all that Kyle Shanahan don't give a fuck about the quarterback position either. He wants someone that is going to be told what to do, and they will do it when he tells them to do it, how he wants him to do it. You can't convince me that the 49ers have actually done an exclusive deep dive into any quarterback ever. Ever. You don't believe me? Mike, they traded all the way up to number 3 for a quarterback. How can you say that with a straight face? They traded up to a position. They had no idea who the fuck they wanted. They didn't know who they wanted. They traded up to number 3 without a prospect in mind. Well, let's see who's available when we're on the clock. I got to go. The game is back on. Fuck this shit, man. The Niners aren't winning this game. And if they do win, it's a fucking mistake. It's a mistake, meaning that they got lucky. Not that they don't deserve it. The players deserve it. The fans deserve it. The team deserves it. But we should not expect to win this game. There you go, Debo. There you go, Debo. And there's a flag. The team deserves a win. The fans deserve a win. But we should not expect a win given the current state of health for this team. I'm heading back to Patreon. Guys, head on over to patreon.com/NB9ERS, and you guys can be a part of the show. We are there. We are live. We're enjoying the game right now. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. I'll see y'all, man. Peace.